On the 12th of August 2022, Australian YouTuber Elmaxo released a video titled The Story of Team Fortress 2's Strangest Player. The video is about a player named Bingsoy. Bingsoy, for lack of a better word, is an enigma. He plays the game in an incredibly unique way. He doesn't really care what his score on the leaderboard is, or if he's carrying the team or not, or if his teammates appreciate his playstyle or not. Bingsoy is a guy who just plays for clips. He wants to get the nuttiest clips he can possibly get. He wants to find new, fun or effective strategies, or spots on maps that people didn't really know about. And recently, he's become quite the icon in the Team Fortress 2 community. Elmaxo's video starts off talking about the first discoveries of Bingsoy, a story about the same quirky player appearing multiple times in different Elmaxo clip videos. It then moves on to Elmaxo bumping into him in a popular community server known as Uncletopia, finding out that his playstyle's funny and quirky, and then basically gang stalking him to observe his behaviour anytime they entered the same TF2 server. But then things got even more strange. When Elmaxo asked Bingsoy some questions, the answers didn't come back in the most traditional way. Bingsoy replied to these questions not with words, but with cryptic images left to be deciphered by Elmaxo and his friends. Bingsoy also answered a player named Sleepy's questions not with words, or with images, but by shooting at signs and drawing letters on the floor in-game on an empty server, leaving Sleepy to decipher what Bingsoy was trying to say. Needless to say that Bingsoy is a pretty crazy character, a very talented TF2 player with a unique playstyle that had a quirky way of communicating with the people who found him so fascinating. And the video just leaves it at that, a hilarious and interesting persona who's still surrounded by mystery. And perhaps, for most people, that's the perfect way to have it all end. But I was still curious, and one day, I had a bit of an epiphany. And by having an epiphany, I mean, my friend Piju had an epiphany the first time he saw the video, and he told me about it 3 months later. Because I think we've cracked the code on who Bingsoy really is. We think we know the man behind the mask. And if you were active in the TF2 community around 2019, you've probably heard of him too. My theory is that Bingsoy is none other than Pyromane prodigy Sketchek, whose clips blew the minds of thousands of would-be Pyromanes. And although he preferred Pyro, and he was most famous for Pyro, that was far from the only class he ever played. Sketchek is, or perhaps was, a TF2 YouTuber who made crazy clip videos starting all the way back in 2013. He started gaining some popularity in 2014 and 2015. He was a very good player, very clearly, but he much preferred playing in this crazy clip-oriented playstyle. He didn't particularly care if he was effective, or if he was top scoring. He just wanted to do crazy things to push the limits of what was possible in the game. Or, as Sketchek himself describes it, he wasn't playing for skill ceiling, he was playing for flex ceiling. This is very similar to the way Bingsoy likes to play Team Fortress 2. 360ing off cliffs to go for huntsman headshots. Finding dumb little nooks and crannies off the side of cliffs to sticky trap. Spawn camping by pushing people into bodies of water so that you can crit them with the Neon Annihilator. It takes a very unique mind to come up with something as stupid and hilarious as this tactic. This is very similar to Sketchek. It's classic Sketchek behaviour. It might not be effective, and it might not work out so well most of the time, but it sure does make for a funny or impressive clip. And since both Sketchek and Bingsoy are Australian, only ever seen in Australian TF2 servers, this got the one brain cell remaining in my head to activate rapidly. And the more I thought about it, the more sense it made. You see, in 2019, Sketchek had a very big controversy. He released a video in June of 2015 telling his audience that he had a terminal illness that he would not recover from. In November of 2015, he then released this video.
Welp. This is it, folks. This is how it ends. I'm very ill, my health is gradually deteriorating, and the clock is ticking, so to speak. I simply cannot afford to spend any more time than I already have maintaining the channel. This is my absolute final video to say goodbye before I stop using this account.
After that, he all but vanished off the face of the internet, leaving everyone to assume that the worst had obviously happened. That was, at least, until 2019, where a player by the name of Bucci spotted an account named Sketchek, with Sketchek's signature profile picture, playing Pyro in an Australian Htwo server. And this is where our connection between Sketchek and Bingsoy arrives once more, because it's not just our boy Bingsoy that likes cryptic messages and ARG-style treasure hunts. After this new Sketchek account got discovered, people obviously tried to add that account on Steam as a friend. Anyone that added the account they'd met in the server would be sent a cryptic message by that account. This message links to a video titled TXT. In the tags of that video, there was another video link. That video, which has now been privated, featured even more cryptic messages, this time in Japanese. The message translated to Mr. Frog only knows frog language. This rabbit hunt continues on for a while, ending with a site that had a hidden password that people need to figure out and enter. Once the password was entered, a pastebin link would finally link to a YouTube video that simply read, "He's not dead. New Sketchek videos extremely soon." Sketchek then released a video talking about why he lied about being dead and why he was returning to TF2.
About 3 years ago, I announced that I had contracted a non-specific terminal illness. I want everyone to know that was a lie. It was a sick joke. It was a ruse. I was never ill, not even a little bit. I was in Japan for an extended period of time. When I was in Japan, I had a really good time, and somewhere along the way, I came to the conclusion that video games had ruined my life. And that was when I decided to shut down the channel. But I also wanted to go out with a bang, I guess you could say. And then I came up with the idea of faking my death, because I knew that would draw a lot of attention.
So if you were ever wondering why someone with nearly 100k subs on YouTube would completely ditch their online persona for a brand new, far less popular one, then this is likely your answer. Sketchek clearly regrets his decision to lie about his own death, and the negative attention he likely receives for this is more than enough reason to start slowly transitioning to a brand new, more undercover identity on the internet. Now, this very complex online treasure hunt that he sent people on, to me, is very reminiscent of Bing Soy's interactions with El Maxo. To our knowledge, Bing Soy never once typed a single letter to any of the people who were interested in him. All of it was communicated via these cryptic images. Bing Soy also had a website. This website featured tons of nods towards those who had been watching him and the people who host the servers he likes to play on. One of which is a 24/7 Htwo server. Htwo being that same map that Sketchek was first seen on in 2019, right before this treasure hunt began. In fact, Bing Soy also has a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel, there's a video named Outlet Horticulture. At the very beginning of this video, he bee-hop market gardens a player named Bucci on Htwo. You know, Bucci. The name of the player who first spotted Sketchek's account on Htwo in 2019, right before Sketchek sent everyone down the rabbit hole. It's not just that they both like the same map, they are literally playing on the exact same server. It is worth noting that Sketchek has never been seen playing on the popular Uncletopia servers, but this is likely not because he wouldn't have liked to, but instead because there were no Australian Uncletopia servers until August 2021, which is pretty close to when Sketchek decided to go off the radar, his last video being uploaded 10 months ago. And as I briefly mentioned before, Bing Soy also has his own TF2 clip channel, something that a player like Sketchek would never be able to live without. And Bing Soy's clip videos are eerily reminiscent of the clip videos that Sketchek used to post on his channel. Similar playstyle and similar editing, making similar use out of the TF2 demo system, and a focus on funny and impressive clips, not just playing the strongest power classes and dominating pubs. Bing Soy even uses tech that was popularized by Sketchek himself, like the flare gun jump that allows you to do small jumps without the need for the detonator or the scorch shot. Upon first being noticed, Bing Soy appeared to be a little bit clueless. He played in such an erratic way that it might appear to an outside observer that he was a bad player. But from these videos, it was clear to anyone that Bing Soy was actually pretty good at the game. He just had no interest whatsoever in stomping pub servers. But this theory of who Bing Soy really is has one final layer to it, because Sketchek's YouTube channel has been dead for the last 10 months. So you might assume that Sketchek had quit video games again, since he did say that he thought they'd ruined his life back in 2019. It's entirely possible that he's quit for good this time. But you see, it's not quite as simple as that, because Sketchek hasn't left the internet. He's just using an entirely new persona. Meet Sonny Briscoe, a VTuber who made his debut just 7 months ago. And in these small 7 months, he's amassed over 400,000 subscribers. And if you pay attention, he might sound a little bit familiar.
My boots are specially designed to more effectively kick open doors and step on people.
Sketchek has been on the internet the entire time. He just looks slightly different than when we last saw him. He even played TF2 on stream once. And as you can tell, some things just clearly never change.
Yeah.
And from this clip right here, we can also assume that he plays TF2 off stream too.
Funny, I was actually playing last night, and I got a crazy cool kill. I want to show it to you if I can. So look at this. See, the soldier's shooting rockets. He's shooting rockets. So what I do, reflect the rocket to do a jump, light him on fire, and then extinguish him on the landing. Hell yeah.
Sketchek spent a number of years in Japan. He can speak Japanese, and apparently, so can Bingsoy. So the pivot to being an anime VTuber made a lot of sense, since he's good at video games and can speak Japanese. Sonny Briscoe speaks Japanese roughly 50% of the time, but he doesn't stream every single day of the week. In fact, he posts his streaming schedule on his Twitter account. These days off seem like perfect times to play TF2 in. He was such an avid player before, and perhaps he still is, as suggested by that clip before. Now I will admit, there are some holes in my theory. Bingsoy also had an animation YouTube channel, which is not something that Sketchek ever showed an interest in. At least not publicly anyway. And it's entirely possible that now that Sketchek is, well, not dead, that he'd just play on an account called Sketchek, and on his off days from streaming as Sonny Briscoe, he could make a couple of clip videos for the Sketchek channel. But perhaps he doesn't like the attention, both positive and negative, that the Sketchek persona now gets him when he's spotted in a server. Hence the brand new Bingsoy alias. Now, it's highly unlikely that Bingsoy or Sketchek would ever come forward to confirm or deny this, but there is likely one other person who also knows the true identity of Bingsoy, and that is Elmaxo himself. In the document containing all of Bingsoy's cryptic answers to these questions, there was one folder that we weren't allowed to see. I believe that Bingsoy revealed his true identity as none other than Sketchek to Elmaxo in this file. And since Elmaxo's a good guy and respects his privacy, he didn't want to reveal what was said inside. And of course, revealing that identity would entirely ruin the magic. So quite frankly, I'm glad that Elmaxo never revealed it, whether I'm right or wrong. But whether my theory is completely genius or completely wrong and stupid, it seems like a lot of it adds up quite nicely. A very skilled Australian TF2 player that doesn't care much for pub stomping, who makes clip videos using the in-game demo system and has a fondness for cryptic interactions with fans, and is just generally a bit of an eccentric character. There surely can't be too many players like that knocking about in Uncletopia servers, now can there? This video was very different from the sort of thing I usually make, but I thought I'd give it a try regardless. You know, it's a fun topic, and if you love TF2 as much as I do, you might agree with me. But if you did like this new sort of style of video, then do let me know with all of the YouTube algorithm stuff, so that I can perhaps look at making more stuff like it in the future. Bingsoy is a super interesting player, and clearly I'm not the only one who thinks so. He's so popular now that even mainstream non-TF2 streamers are reacting to his story on their streams. And I want to make it clear that I don't want to otherize Bingsoy, and I don't want to ruin the magic of having a mysterious figure in the community either. I respect Bingsoy a lot, whether he's secretly Sketchek or not, but whether my theory is right or wrong, I'm just glad this crazy enigma of a player that is Bingsoy was discovered in the first place, regardless of who they really are. Thanks for watching.